Welcome to another episode of Caribbean Discoveries. Here in Trinidad, we come down Pinaldi deep south to visit the dragon fruit
Pioneers Dragon.
Pioneers Dragon Fruit brand. This is him here, Mr. What's your name?
Anand Singh.
Anand Singh. Well, you know COVID, we ain't really supposed to
I'll sanitize.
do sanitize again. So tell us a little bit about your dragon fruit and where we come from, where you're going, and that kind of stuff.
Right. So as you see, the name is Pioneers Dragon Fruit Farm. And the two guys you see there, we are the founder of it. And this actually started as a hobby. And it became into a little business because of our love for the fruit itself. We were first introduced to it in 2004 in China, but it was not so like it was tasteless, more or less, big tasteless. But then we read about the health benefits and so on. And then being a scout leader, we were going to camp in Iceland, and we had a cheap flight that we used, and we went to Suriname first, Netherlands, and then Iceland. And while in Suriname, we had to overnight in the airport, and a person said, who knew one of the guys said, come and spend the night by us, and we get back in the airport. So they were sleeping in the airport. When we reached there, they gave us a nice dinner, and at the end of the dinner, they said they have a special dessert, dragon fruit. And I was like, oh, dragon fruit, no, I don't want that. And the person insists out of courtesy. I said, okay, give me a little piece. So the person bring the piece and I put it on. Whoa. So she said, would you like another piece? I said, yes, thanks. And another piece, and she was still standing there. When I finished, I said, watching her, like, she said, I know, you want the whole fruit? I said, yes. I was sold on it. And, you know, from there we got it in here, and we started off in September 2017. So we started using seeds first. And that's a no-no, because by March of 2018, we got rid of all the seedlings. It was frustrating to really grow seedlings. Yeah. And then we realized seedlings take 6 to 10 years to bear. And at my age, I ain't had time for
that. 6 to 10 years, you know?
Yes. So then we started to go on YouTube and follow like Sakaboy Mahal from California and people from all over the world. And 3 months I driving all over Trinidad looking for motorcycle tires, realizing that I was wasting good time. And then I realized to myself, but this thing here locally. So when I started studying it, I realized that this thing is indigenous to South America, Central America, and Southern Caribbean. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute, right in my place here, I have this thing, you know? And then I realized that this thing is something that is unique to Trinidad. And I look at the whole structure, and we started to do experiments because we made a lot of mistakes in the beginning in terms of using the tire, using wooden posts, and all different things. We tried different type of mix here, and we came up with the right mix that in 2018, around just after March, when we finished off the season, so maybe in June of 2018, we really went full thing and trying out all kinds of different things. And by January 2019, we started to really plant it in a better way. And from 2019 to 2020, it was fantastic. We're getting fruits in 5 months and 6 months. Wow. And as you can see the amount of fruits.
Exactly.
And so the fruits bear in cycles. So we are very fortunate. Normally the cycle starts from April and it ends in October. So you'll get like about 3 to 5 cycles. Like meaning that you'll get fruits 3 times or 5 times, depends. We are very fortunate. We get it in 7 cycles. Wow. And we actually got our bud in February. And last year we got fruits up to December, so something we're doing right.
Had to be. So what makes it different? You said when you tasted the first time, it was...
Right, so there are lots of farms in Trinidad and a lot of people who farm in this here. And one of the problems that they face is that they are doing it commercially. So commercially people want a bigger fruit, more weight, and that they could sell wholesale. And then it don't have the taste because there's too much of fertilizers and stuff, right? What we have done is we allow the fruit to stay on the vine and ripe on, like vine ripe.
Right. And
we allow people to come and pick your own fruit. So,
okay.
You know, so there's little tricks of the trade. For example, you have to know when it's ripe. But what we do at our home when we eat, you know, I have a little feel that my experimental feel, as I would say, that I'm embarrassed to show people that. But anyway, it serves me good because I have 21 posts that I get my own personal fruits, and I don't pick the fruits until the underneath cracks. And when there's a crack, oh my God, That is Mr. Fruit. And I love it when I put it in the refrigerator for about 2 hours and really cool it. When you eat that, it's like heaven. That's my take on it. But I will use one fruit for 8 days. Yeah? You can't get the health benefits by eating one fruit and say, okay, I'll get health benefits. So I will cut it in 8 pieces and every day I eat a piece.
Okay. So you're trying not to eat the whole thing at once.
Well, I do sometimes.
Well, let us see the farm.
Very good, let's go. So in the beginning we tried different things. We tried wooden posts. We even tried PVC. And someone suggests metal posts. But what we realized that this is a plant that sends out a lot of feeder roots. So we used to hold it so we went full-blooded into the wooden post because we tried with PVC, it wasn't really doing well. We had to burlap it and so on. And the metal one was getting too hot, so it was burning the roots, so we didn't go that direction. So let's go to the wooden one. And the wood was so hard because you couldn't nail it, put a nail on it. But after 2 years, after this, one of the posts had about 8 fruits, the whole thing tumbled along, it rotten at the bottom. And we wouldn't use wooden posts. So then we went on to using concrete posts. We tried different heights and so on, and we came down to the 7 feet posts that we use. And I had a guy, he hired somebody who did up in the post and so on, but they were compromising. They were giving us one steel inside. So what we do right now is that we put in 2 steel in the inside and we weld it, and then so our posts are pretty decent and it should outlive me.
So you see, even coming to the farm, we have to be COVID prepared.
Yes, you see, we actually have to sanitize. After our first experiment, I don't really want to carry it there because that was where we were very close with it and all the little mistakes we make looking for motorcycle tires all over Trinidad and things. So we had to actually creep in there, so we don't really carry people there. But this 14 posts on this section here was 14 posts. We put on this set here in January of 2019. And we have been getting fruits, tremendous amount of fruits. Because there's a system that we use to plant it. And we hired somebody, and all for the happens, they just put a teaspoon of salt and you overload the salt. So you'll see some of the mistakes we made here, like using the smaller tires, so it becomes root bound, right? So now we use 17 and 18 tires. We don't use any small tires because we want to get enough space to have the nutrients coming up to the plant, right? So this 14 posts went down in January of 2019, and we actually intercrop it here. We had a crop of tomatoes and hot peppers and okra, and then we started with this next section here. This here went on in about March, April of 2019, and this is our main set of fruit where we get the most fruits. The last cycle, which was every 40 days we have a cycle. So the last 40 days we actually got about 200 fruits right here. So we're talking about January 2019 and 2020. So this could tell you that the potential of these, if you do the correct thing. And when people come to buy plants here, we sit it down and we give you the whole lesson free of charge, of course. 20 minutes per person. So if you have 7 appointments, so 7 times you're going to do this. But we get a pleasure in it, so we enjoy that. We don't want anybody buying a plant and you're going to man, and then 2 years after you're saying, I have a dragon fruit and I ain't getting anything, you know. So we feel really good when people send messages to us after a year and say, listen, I'm getting fruits, I'm actually selling fruits in a year. We enjoy that, you know. So what variety we carry? We carry the red skin one with the dark red, almost purplish inside, which is about the sweetest in this variety. A lot of people say, well, the yellow is the sweetest, which I agree, but I don't really consider the yellow as a dragon fruit like this, because first of all, it doesn't even look like this. And the yellow one is a lot of prickles on the outside, so you have to clean it out and then cut it. It's also smaller. It's white inside and the texture is a lot different from this. But in terms of the red and the white, the red is the sweetest. Slightly different in this, but my preference is the red. Some people might like the white, but at the end of the day, I like the dark red one because they have what you call like American Beauty and different ones. But you see this that I got from South America, I just don't know what about it, but it's really, really sweet. I enjoy it, you know. And as you see, the birds take them. I don't know if you can see a little thing here. That's why we bag it. So you see where the birds come and they pick them. And if it's not sweet, like the ones that you've seen on right, they wouldn't really go for that. They would go for the one that's actually really ripe, you know. So, oh, I can't another one get bitten here, boy, watch. This other one got bitten here. So somehow the birds get into you see? Right, so we have to be very, that's why we tie them up with the bags, to protect it. But at the end of the day, I am okay with the birds getting a few because it will spread it on the trees also. This is indigenous to Trinidad, I was telling you. Long ago we used to call it harjo. And a lot of people use it for animals and humans. When they get lash, you make a poultice out of they say you pong it up and you tie it and it will send down the swelling. Some people, older people too, I think when a lady had baby, they just hang the thing on the doorway for some protection and so on. I don't know much about that. They can tell you about that. And it's also in Tobago. So what I'll do, I'll show you the local one, the Trinidad one. I'll say this is the foreign one from South America. The difference is that this is self-pollinating, our local one needs cross-pollination. These could go up to 2 pounds. The local one, if you get one weighing half pound, you would be very lucky. And on the trees, they open up very fast. Sometimes the local one open before it really fully ripe, and the bats and they will eat it out before you could get it. But the local one have a nice flavor, it melts in your mouth like. It's different, the texture totally different from this foreign one. So we could take and show you. I had a tree here with the local one and we cut the tree down and still there. So let's look at it.
So these are the yellow flowers that come with the...
Right. So the flower, it sends out a bud. I'm not sure if I have any buds right now. And the buds will eventually, in a couple of weeks time, it will open. It will become a flower. The flower only opens in the night. So from around 8 o'clock it starts opening. But around between 10 to 11 is when it's fully opened. So what we do, we go in the night also and we will take a blush brush and a little container and we catch the pollen and then we take the pollen and we put it onto the stigma. Even though it's self-pollinated, when we do that, we will get a bigger fruit and a nicer fruit because more pollen on the stigma, the better the fruit.
Okay.
So, but you have to come out in the night to do it, around 9. So maybe we here out from midnight doing it. And by 8 o'clock the next morning, the flower closes and that's it. And when it closes up, the base of the flower becomes the fruit. Right? Now this here, after 2 days, you could cut this off and you can make tea. One of the best teas we made it. If you go on my page, you'll see how we make the tea. And I'll show you how to do it. Right?
And what's the name of your page?
Pioneers Dragon Fruit Market. Right? On Facebook, and if you check there, you'll see the instruction how to go about making. It will be one of the best tea. One of the guys, when I give it to him, after a little while, he was just nodding away. So I should call boys having sleepy. So maybe they could put it to sleep in the night. Right? Now, the flowers will, once it bud and once the flowers open, 40 days after, this fruit will be ready. 40 days. So it keeps on drying, different stages of drying. And then, like this, so you could either take it off or you could leave it. And if you want, you could just take it off. It comes off. So you would see like a hole there and some people panic. They say, oh my God, boy, look at a hole in there. Don't worry about that. That's how it is, right? That is a hard crust like in there. And this is of no use, so we don't really use this, yeah? Because you have to use it at that stage to get your tea. Also, there's not a lot of roots. So for example, you see some roots here, right? So when it's dry and no good, you can cut this here and get enough to make a tea. You can brew a tea with this also. It have a lot of health benefits. So the skin also, if you go on my page, you will see how to use the skin to make jam. And my mom is 85, and in 2 weeks time she wrote a bottle of jam. She love it. You know? 85, you know, this lady cut it down. So remember I was telling you, I was just asking me if the shorter the post you should get fruits faster.
Right.
It all depends on the type of cuttings. So you have like cuttings from the side shoots, and then you have cuttings from a mature plant, and then you have cuttings from a bearing plant. So cuttings from a side shoot will take like 4 to 5 years. Seedlings take 6 to 10. Cuttings from a mature plant, you could get fruits in about 2 years, 2 to 3 years. May I get before 2 years? You just say. And when you get a cutting that had fruits in it already, a fruiting cutting, you could get fruits in 6 months. I'll show you 2 plants that we planted in March and picking fruits already. In fact, we had a situation where we put the cuttings to generate some root before we could plant it. And while it was there, it sent out 2 buds in 3 weeks. But I knew it wouldn't sustain it, so it fell out. But I took pictures and I have it on my page. So let's look at the Tobago one. So this is the young man that do the preparation here. See, when they reach a certain height, we put them in these sticks here. So he's the person, Kevin. Right? And he's also one of our scout. He's a venture scout with the Pioneer Scout group. So, let's come here. This entire field here, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, this entire field was planted last year, July. So last year, July, and tremendous amount of fruits we have been getting. So we started to get fruits from March this year. So in less than a year time, we were picking fruits, and you can see the amount of fruits. If you go on my page, you will see when we started it. We have it documented and everything, so people can see what we do, you know. I am looking for a bigger bud here, but somehow we are looking to see if I see a bud to show what it looks like.
So can I like cut any part of it and just rest it on the ground
You
to...
are very fortunate. So see when the buds.
Oh.
Look at this one. See, so this is all from the smallest seed growing up, and they get like this, right? And then, how we would know when it's opening, we'll see this part here start to open, and we see a little bit inside of it, and we know for sure that it's going to open in the night. So we wouldn't know until actually the day it's going to open, then we will get to know. So starting we invite people to come and assist with the pollination. And if you come and assist with the pollination, we make you put your name there, and we give you updates on the growth of it. And at the end of the day, when the fruit ready, we call you, and if you want, you have first preference to buy it. If you don't want it, then we sell it to somebody. So once you come and pollinate, you guarantee you have your fruit here. You don't have to worry about anybody coming to pick that. So as you can see, we have fruits, we have full fruits, we have fruits with flowers, and we have buds coming out. So it just keep going. So the cycle is every 40 days, but in between the cycle, we also have the odd fruit. We don't post it because if somebody come early and we have a fruit, they get a fruit. But they will not get 5 and 10 fruits. But in the cycle, of course, people get up to 10, 20 fruits because of the amount. And people really love it. As you can see, a little white spot is ripe ones, you know. Oh, look at bird eating one here. Oh my God. And that's a big fella.
What kind of bird feed on
all
them?
Kinds. All kinds. Any kind of a bird country. You see what birds you're seeing? I know see meeting this fella here. So John, yeah, a bird was dealing with this fella here, boy. Oh no, boy.
It hasn't started
no, but
yet.
I've seen it bite it because I've seen seeds.
Oh.
I saw a bird in there.
Yeah.
So they make nests on it also, so this is why, and they were supposed to bag this, I'm almost certain
Yeah, look at
It's
inside.
So, and this already, yeah, but.
Yep.
So, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, so he got it.
Tell us about planting. You say it's just to rest. You could cut any part. So for example, can I just cut off piece and rest it on the ground and it will start to grow?
Yes, and any part you cut will grow. It's more like a parasite. So if you kill a dragon fruit, something totally wrong. When we take the cotton and we throw them and we come back 2-3 weeks after, it's there. Sometimes it starts to form root, but we wouldn't use those. So even though you're saying that, so I'll explain to you the type of cotton. So most people, the type that they get in the agro shop is mainly from the side here. So when the tree growing up, it sends out a lot of side shoots. And if you're into the business of selling plants, they let it grow out and they cut it. Because every one that they cut, they could sell it from maybe $50 to $100. But then you buy that plant, it's from an immature plant. So 2 to 3 years you will have that there and it's not going anywhere. And then most likely the agro shop will not be able to tell you how to plant it because they don't know themselves. They probably never even see the fruit. So this is something in our family you'll never see. Here, watch everyone, you will not see a single side shoot. So what we do, we take them off. That's just stimulate the growth upwards. Now, once it grows up here, we wait till it reaches about this height above. And then we cut it off. And when we cut it off now, you have to keep that in a shaded area, covered shaded area for about a week to sort of dry off. And then we plant it. because it's a succulent and it could get fungal infection, fungus infection and so on, right? So that's the type of thing. Then when it bear through the entire cycle for the year, right, you wouldn't really get much fruit, you may not get fruit. So what we do now, we come and we cut it here. But this have the genetic to bear. So if I plant this now, let's say this had fruits and we cut and we plant this, we'll try to cut and plant a long cutting. You see the size of these? Look at this cutting from here to there. So when you put on a cutting like this with that length, from a bearing cactus, in 6 months you're going to get fruits. We are very fortunate, sometimes we get the fruits on the cutting. You'll see a few of them on the cutting itself. You see them lower ones with the bag? Those are planted and we're actually getting fruits on the lower cutting part. So, although we're not supposed to do that, but we're just lucky to get it. Right? And normally we get some really huge fellas there. And that's it basically. The planting process is as if we don't plant it, we just rest it on top of the soil and we tie it to the post. And if you notice here, this is where we fertilize mainly. Right? And only when it started bear, we'll throw some block on some bearing salt on the root. Yeah, so we were able to, but when we fertilize, we like to spray the fertilizer. If you watch here, you see how many roots here? Remember this grow on a tree, and it depends on the moisture and anything to feed it. So therefore we do the same thing here. We spray, we soak this here, and that's why we will go the concrete post, because with the concrete post it's sort of absorbed into the concrete. And for 7-8 days, the plant will keep feeding on the fertilizer.
Okay, what kind of fertilizer do you all use?
Normal Nutrex 20-20-20 for growing, and it grows tremendously. So,
alright folks, you're going to open up a dragon fruit. Wow, it's soft.
Yeah, if the birds like it, you will like it more.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So,
cut it this way now.
Right, so you might want to take off that piece. Yeah, just cut it down there. There you go. So you can just put it down here, you'll be able to get rid of it afterwards. Right.
Wow.
You just cut out the bad spot there. Right, so to eat it now, you just take from the good one, leave all this in. I don't want you to get any problems. Right, so she would have a piece here, you just start it like a, there you go, and you could start eating.
I didn't expect that taste.
Tell us about the taste, what taste you get?
What fruit can I compare this to?
If this was cool, you'd like it even more.
Really?
Which I always eat it chill.
You know what it compares to?
Kiwi?
Kiwi.
The texture.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not too sweet.
No. And it's not too sour.
And it's not too sour. It's just right.
Once you start to eat that, especially when it's cold, you would always want that.
And you say 8 days to eat this?
Yeah.
Trust me.
To get the benefits.
Once you started eating it, you wouldn't want to stop.
Yeah, wouldn't stop. That's what I wanted to hear. You say they take a big bite, then you say, oh, I don't understand this thing.
People, if it's one thing you have to come down Penal for, is to check the Pioneer Dragon Fruit Market. It's a definite on your to-do list. In COVID season just come with about 5 people, 5?
Yeah, but you must make an appointment on.
Make an appointment on the page. You'll see the page show up at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
Check it out, message. If you see a phone number there, call the phone number, make an appointment and come down the road.
True.
So I'm going to spoil your lipstick. You go get red lipstick, don't worry. Don't fight it like you're fighting, girl. Take
Are
a
they fruits?
good bite. How you think?
Tastes nice.
So you hear that, folks? Candice.
Tastes nice. But I can imagine how it tastes when it's cold.
Yes.
See that?
And if you come another time and I get one with the crack on it, that is the one. So I don't have any crack on right now, but
It's a must taste.
So, folks, until the next time, our next episode, the Pioneer Dragon Fruit Market, Pinal, Definite. Later. Thanks again, man.
welcome.